now you started it.
Okay. So, today we're going to talk about comprehending nonfiction text on the web. So, I know you're doing a lot of things on the web right now. If you have a question about a word or vocabulary that we're discussing, then you let me know, okay? So, you've read nonfiction books, right?
Wait, nonfiction books are the ones that are real, right?
Yeah, fiction is something that somebody made up or wrote, like a story that you would read or a novel. And then nonfiction is something true that we would read. So today we're going to be looking at a website that has nonfiction material on it. And one of the things we're doing is comparing text features, like things like maybe a table of contents in a book versus how you would find that on the web. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I was just going to go through this chart with you really quick. So sometimes in a text feature in a book might be table of contents, like I said, and in the website format, it might be like a menu with hyperlinks. Do you know what a hyperlink is?
Like a link and you click on it and it takes you to that website?
Yeah, and usually it can be highlighted. It might be in a different color. Good. So how does that table of contents or the menu help me understand the information? So when you go to the website, that menu, that's up there to help you figure out how to get around the website, right?
Mm-hmm. Because if you just clicked on it in the morning.
Yeah, kind of like you use your dashboard when you're, okay. So headings would be the same. Can you find, okay. There are important terms that you would have to be able to define to understand the information. Now I see a heading, so they're talking about bold or italicized words. Do you see some bold words?
Like freshwater ecosystems or marine ecosystems?
Yep. So the text in those is darker and thicker. And then I sometimes have italicized words. Do you see any italicized words in there?
Like there's like tropical oceans and temperate ocean?
Well, it just, the text looks a little different. When we come across that, we'll look for that. Graphics and illustrations. So in a book, you know what that is. In the website, they still have graphics and illustrations. Now, these are graphics, these little pictures here. You could click on those and find what's under that picture. So they have the picture, the graphic, the illustration itself set up as a hyperlink. So that's kind of cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or it could be a graph or a chart on the website that provides you with more information, or it may arrange the information in a visual format so sometimes that you can understand it better. Sometimes it's easier to understand information if it's in a graph or a chart, as opposed to somebody just throwing information at you. They've arranged it and organized it for you. In a book, we have pages, and you can navigate to different pages on a website.
Yeah.
So if you click on one of those links, you might end up on a different page. Mm-hmm. So those are text features that are similar between websites and books, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a book, you have to turn the pages. On a website, you might click a button or click on a link. So, okay. So, now that we talked about that, we can do a scavenger hunt based on this website. Okay, so This is called mbg.net, but can you tell me what would the name of the website, like what would the institution or entity be behind the website? Can you see that on the main page?
Like biomes of the world.
Okay. Missouri. Oh, see, now I touched something. Sorry. I knew that was going to happen. Missouri Botanical Garden. Sorry. I kind of have to lean over because I'm trying to look at that and some of the... Can we maximize that so it's a little bigger? There we go. Thank you. Mommy's eyes are getting old. I mean, your teacher's eyes are getting old. Excuse me. So we're going to go on a scavenger hunt around this website to see what we can find.
Okay.
And you're going to use some of the text features to help you find these things. This is your sheet where you can record your information. Would you like to put your name on that for me?
Yes.
And the date is it the 17th? See, if I'd been teaching all day today, I would know.
8/17 to 20.
Yeah. It's 9/18/20. Okay. So, normally if I was teaching this lesson in a classroom, excuse me, I've got the rest of my lesson plan there, my dear. Sorry. That was my fault. Okay, so we're going to look for some specific information in the text of this website. So normally you might do this with a group or partners on your own, but you and I are going to go do it together because this is a one-on-one lesson. So, let's read some of the headings in there. What's it like where you live? And then what does that say under that? Can you read that for me?
Biomes of the world.
Yep. And then we have a section, a heading called freshwater ecosystems. And then what's that one?
Marine ecosystems.
Okay. So, we're going to try to answer these questions using the website. How many biomes are there in the world? Okay. What do you see there?
I see 12 here.
Okay, those are ecosystems down below. Freshwater ecosystems, marine ecosystems.
3.
How many biomes of the world do you see?
12.
Okay, I'm not counting the ecosystems. So if you're just looking under the heading of biomes of the world.
1.
Nice. Okay.
6.
Okay. So how many biomes are there in the world?
6.
Yep. So is the taiga the largest biome found on Earth? Do you want to click on the taiga and see we might get more information there. Can you read that information to me? Just for the sake of the lesson?
The taiga biome stretches across a large portion of Canada, Europe, and Asia. It is the largest biome in the world.
I think you got your answer. Have you ever done a scavenger hunt on a website before?
Yes, I have.
Oh, cool. Name one type of animal you might find in the tundra. Okay.
Look on the tundra to find out.
That's one of the biomes.
How cold is cold? The tundra biome is at the top of the world, around the North Pole. Below a thin layer of tundra soil is its permafrost, a permanently frozen layer of ground. During the brief summers, the top section of the soil may thaw just enough to allow plants and microorganisms to grow and reproduce.
Okay. So, one type of animal you might find in the tundra.
Bears.
Okay.
Or polar bears.
Polar bears. Cool. Okay, which type of rainforest could be found in North America?
Did you know there are two types of rainforests? The temperate and the tropical? Tropical rainforests are found close to the equator. Temperate forests are found along the coast in the temperate zone, such as the Pacific Northwest of the USA. Both are endangered.
Okay, so if we have a rainforest in North America, what kind would it be? Where are the tropical ones found?
The tropical ones are found close to the equator.
Do we live close to the equator?
No.
That might be something we need to explore, but I can define it for the sake of this lesson. I can define it for you now. The closer you get to South America, going down in North America, you would be getting close to the equator. So near the equator, it gets warmer and warmer and warmer. And that's where you would find more tropical rainforests. So we live way further up north, away from the equator. So what kind of rainforest would we have here?
Temperate.
Temperate. Yay. Okay. So I guess they do get more specific. They say temperate rainforests are found along coasts in the temperate zone, such as the Pacific Northwest of the USA. So they did give us that information, but you might have needed some more background knowledge on it. Can plants and animals live on mudflats? So you might have to go back to home. Man, I wish that was bigger. I didn't know that website was going to be so... When I looked at it...
Wetlands?
Plants and animals live on mudflats.
Forest, tundra, temperate ponds and lakes, rivers and streams.
Okay, so let's try shorelines.
Okay. Should I read it?
Sure.
Shorelines are where the oceans and sea meet land. The change is abrupt and sudden. The plants and animals that call this transition zone home, have interesting adaptations. Some organisms make the shallow waters of the shoreline. Others live on land, but have adjusted to higher levels of salt in their environment.
Okay, so on the left-hand side, you see a little menu for this area, almost like a table of contents. So, yep, you can go to mudflats, and that will give you more information about plants and animals that live on mudflats, maybe. So you don't have to read it aloud this time, but why don't you go through that text now that we've gotten the hang of this and see if we can find... You could read aloud. If you find the part that tells us the answer, you could read that aloud.
Phytoplankton and zooplankton are abundant. So are mud snails. Animals like oysters and clams that filter live in mudflats because of the availability of plankton. Fish and crabs move through the flats at high tide. Birds and predatory animals visit tidal flats at specific times for their catch.
So our specific question is...
Can plants and animals live on mudflats?
Can they?
Yes.
Okay, so you have your answer. You're getting good at this. Okay, you can hit the home button too to go back. That's one of our text features on a website, right? Okay, so what do you call plants that control erosion in a wetland?
Let's see.
Oh, Oh, you went to wetlands ecosystem. Nice use of text features, my friend. Okay. And you might need to go over to your little table of contents or menu on the side there to find that. Did you tell your brother to get the dog so that...
Yeah.
Okay, so you might want to look at plants.
Is it in here or was it at home?
No, I think I would go to wetlands, and then it's saying, what do you call plants that control erosion? So, maybe let's try wetlands in danger. Sometimes you have to navigate her. Can we see anything about erosion? Vinny, no. I'm so sorry I touched that and now, okay. Okay. So try, since I clicked you out of that, try back in that area where you were. I'm sorry.
What area?
This area.
Wait, do you think it's a joke possibly?
This?
No, this. Like, what do you call
What do you call plants that control erosion in a wetland? It's in there.
Okay.
I just confused things because I clicked out of it on accident. That's my fault. Normally I'd probably be doing this on a smart board or something, so not on your...
Plants firmly rooted in the muddy bottom, but with stalks that are as high above the water surface, are able to radically slow the flow of water.
And so what do you call those plants?
As a result, they counter the erosive forces and moving water along with them.
So they have a heading here of what this paragraph is about. Can you see how it's highlighted in bold?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I know, but they're showing you that might be... Remember when we were talking about our text features? Mm-hmm. I said that I can read a brief phrase that tells me what information I will find in the paragraph below it. Now, it's not a phrase, it's just one word. So maybe this, in parentheses, is the definition of that word. So what's the word?
Emergence.
Ah, nice. So that's what they call the plants. Emergence. I know, that's weird.
Emerge.
I think that was a little confusing because emergence, and then they have, do you see they have in the parentheses, they define the word for you? Because it's not a part of the paragraph, it's a definition of the word. What do you call the location where a river runs into an ocean?
I think when we were looking for the wetlands, we found out that answer.
Well, do we have Sorry, honey. Every time you go back home, then it gets small again and I can't see it. Okay. So where would we look for information about rivers?
And runs into an ocean, okay?
Let's read some of these.
Rivers and streams.
Rivers and streams. So that would be a good place to look. Thank you. Do you see how we're using those headings and other text features to navigate around the website? Good job. Okay. What do you call the location where a river runs into an ocean?
When rivers run into the ocean.
Well, that might be a good place to look. Hey, you're getting good at this. I still wish I could see those headings better because my glasses are not powerful enough.
Where rivers meet the ocean, it's called the mouth of the river.
Well, right there, do you think they gave you the answer?
Yeah.
All right. I know this lesson's nice. Okay, so this question, what's the type of ocean where you can find a coral reef? Oh, it's fill in the blank. Is blank.
I'm gonna click on tropical oceans. A reef is a coral community consisting of several thousand organisms living together. Although it looks like a dormant underwater bush, the reef is very much alive. Reefs go very slowly over time. In fact, an inch of coral reef takes nearly 100 years to grow.
And what kind of ocean do you find a coral reef in?
Tropical oceans.
Okay. So that's your... Like I said, if you were doing this as a scavenger hunt in school, you'd probably be doing it with like a partner or a group. So it would be a little different. Then we might get back together. Okay. So, elephants whose main diet is grass can be found on what continent?
Well, right here are some grasslands, so I think that gives us a clue.
Okay. So you're kind of going with your prior knowledge and thinking that you think elephants might live in grasslands?
Grassland animals.
All right, check it out.
Grasslands lack the trees and heavy bush to hide many creatures because of the open landscape and the widely spaced trees. Grasslands are home to large herds of grazing mammals, such as the zebra and bison. Annual rainfall in the grasslands is between 10 to 30 inches. There is a seasonal drought every year. Many animals are active only during the rainy season. Here we have African elephant as listed one of the animals that we can look at.
Boom. So what?
Grasslands.
Okay. So you're saying elephants whose main diet is grass can be found on what continent?
What continent? Continent.
Well, is Africa a continent?
Everywhere except Antarctica. Grasslands are found everywhere except Antarctica.
Okay, but what kind of elephant specifically did
African
they...
elephants.
Okay, is Africa a continent? Yes, you're not sure? Okay, maybe, I think it's okay to, like, I'm going to say as your teacher that it's okay for us to do a little, like, if we can't find it on the site, we can go see what are continents. Again, that's really small for me. So you might look and see, is Africa a continent?
Yes.
Okay. So the ones that they're talking about in this website anyway?
Or African elephants.
Mm-hmm. So I would go ahead and put... I want to say that there are Asian elephants, but for this particular scavenger hunt, what they're focused on with the grasslands, I think they are talking about Africa.
How does the old man cactus reflect sun rays? Well, I know that cactuses are found in deserts, so let's go into the desert. What is it? Desert plants.
Ooh.
Deserts are home to many living things. In fact, the deserts are second only to tropical rainforests in the variety of plant and animal species that live there. How do you think plants grow in a place that is very, very dry? Many of the fascinating features of desert plants are adaptations, traits that help the plant survive its harsh environment. Desert plants have two main.
Oh, are you looking at the word? Adaptations.
What?
Adaptations are how plants and animals
have two main
change to do better in their environment.
I just thought that was the end.
Okay, so the desert plants have two main adaptations.
Ability to collect water and store water, and features that reduce water loss. Desert plants often look different than plants in any other biome. Click on the question to your left to learn more information about desert plants.
Okay. Do you see anything in your menu about old man cactus?
There's fish up. Old man cactus. The wet, hairy surface of old man cactus helps the plant reflect the hot desert sun.
I've seen those when I was in Arizona. They're really funny looking, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was calling it the Bernie Sanders cactus. Okay. So, how does the old man cactus reflect sun rays?
The hairy surface.
All right. The white hairy surface, I think. It's good to be specific, right? Include all your details. Okay. Well, thank you for doing this lesson with me, and I think we learned a lot about nonfiction websites and their text features and about different environments. What do you say?
Mm-hmm.
Or do I stop?